Is the Bengals offensive line finally ready to protect Joe Burrow? Offensive line talk coming your way, plus one-on-one with rookie Matt Lee and much, much more right now on Enter the Jungle. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Enter the Jungle. I'm James Rapien. He is Andrew Fox Miller. Make sure you catch us every single Tuesday at 8 Eastern right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hit that subscribe button and check us out weekly on Bally Sports as well. And shout out to our sponsor. You can see it over Andrew's shoulder. You can see it all over my left shoulder. Little Garage Beer. Shout out to Garage Beer. And Andrew, don't look now, but regular season football, it's almost here. We've almost made it, folks. And Andrew, it's time for a little offensive line conversation because in Cincinnati, we don't talk enough about offensive line. We just don't.
Yeah, totally. We don't go track them down at Kenwood Mall or anything like. We don't do that.
No, nothing. There's no. Here are the 52 offensive linemen they should sign in free agency. Okay, so there probably will be plenty of offensive line conversation all season long. Hopefully, it's good offensive line conversation. Let's start here. Confidence level.
Yeah.
Amarius Mims goes down. Hopefully we'll be back in the near future. Trent Brown, in my opinion, going to start at right tackle. Let's go under this assumption, Andrew, that Trent Brown does start at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And from left to right, you have Orlando Brown Jr., Cordell Volson, Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, Trent Brown. Where is your confidence level in that group?
Okay, so we didn't work out a scale or anything, but my confidence level, it's very good, James. Like, listen, let's put it this way.
Very good.
Nothing has changed from, honestly, after free agency, after the draft, summer heading into training camp. Nothing's changed. Trent Brown's starting for reasons not quite what we would have anticipated. Amarius Mims simply just may not be able to play week one, or maybe shouldn't. But Trent Brown's playing. That's kind of what we went into this season thinking. If anything, I mean, we've got a center and Matt Lee looking pretty good for depth. Like we're hitting everything that we were kind of hoping would happen and possibly then some, again, aside from the Amarius Mims thing, but here we are. Like I'm feeling pretty good. Depth is always a concern, but when isn't it when it comes to offensive line?
I agree. One, I do think they're deeper than people realize, and we can get to that in just a second. One-on-one with Matt Lee coming up in just a few minutes. But this should easily be, and we say it every year, feels like a broken record, the best offensive line of the Joe Burrow era. And by the best, I mean the biggest, the strongest, the best run blocking offensive line, the best pass protecting offensive line. And let's be real, that's what really matters. That's why I love the Matt Lee pick, because he's a great pass protector. All right. That's protect the franchise, keep Joe Burrow upright, let Joe Burrow do Joe Burrow things, because when that happens, then the Bengals are going to be right there. And we know that when he's upright, they're going to be competitive with any and everyone. My confidence level in this offensive line, it is pretty high because I believe in Ted Karras. I believe in Orlando Brown Jr. And not because they're friends of the show, because I believe in them as football players. I think Alex Kappa is poised for a bounce back year. And the thing I like about Kappa is he's just going through it right now, having to deal with Sheldon Rankins, going through it, having to deal with BJ Hill in a contract year. Those guys are eager to prove what they have too. And I think it's making Alex Kappa better. So hopefully we see a bounce back year from him. Last year he was fine, but there were some ups and downs for sure, ups and downs. And then Cordell Volson, I think there are some that love him because he works really hard and he's from a small town and all of those things. And then others that just think he's never going to get it. I would buy Cordell Volson stock. And then Trent Brown, I know people are worried about him. I'm not worried about him. Like all five of those guys, I believe in. That doesn't mean they aren't going to get beat, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Offensive linemen get beat. But I think that they're going to put Joe Burrow in a position to succeed. I'm really bullish on this line. Really confident. You said very, very high or whatever you said in your Andrew Fox.
I'm feeling
Miller
very
scale.
good. I'm feeling very good. And then I gave it some color. But we don't need to circle back on no one's going to clip what I just said was very good. What did you say? You said best offensive line of, and I'll give you a breathe.
Of the Joe Burrow era.
No, say the whole statement. Big Play needs to clip this, James.
The Bengals have the best offensive line of the Joe Burrow era. And you're not ready for this one. And this is one that hasn't been said in the Joe Burrow era. They have the best offensive line in the AFC North.
Oh, has this been said in the James Rapien era?
Yes, it has. But the Andy Dalton Andy Dalton era when Andrew Whitworth and Kevin Zeitler and like they really do. And part of that isn't just the 5 guys we mentioned. It is the depth that you mentioned. Amarius Mims is your first lineman off the bench. Well, good luck. He would start for every team in the AFC North, including the Bengals potentially, had he not gotten nicked up. Right? Like there was a real chance he beat out Trent Brown and still could, I guess. Who knows? But I think it's unlikely, but who knows? And then after that, I think Cody Ford's looked really good this preseason. Matt Lee, that's a pretty good buy low center in the 7th round, man. In the 7th round, I like it. I like it. And another guy, and they were telling me about him this offseason. And by they, people in the building. Don't want to say who because I'm not sure that they would give me permission. But Jackson Kirkland, Andrew, did you see him playing tackle against the Chicago Bears?
Yeah.
He's a guard. And they put him at tackle to see if he could do it, and he did it. I like Jackson Kirkland. I think he makes the team as well.
Hey, I was feeling very good. I'm gonna bring it up another level. What's gonna make you happy? What do I need to say here based off your pitch? Yeah, I mean, you're selling me. You're selling me. I was already sold, but you're taking
That
it
the
up a level,
Bengals,
the hype.
you need to tell me that the Bengals trade Jackson Carman to Cleveland so we can make fun of the rest of the Big Play Network and give them call holding penalties and false start penalties on the Browns. What do you think about that one?
There's got to be some sort of punishment beyond just the Jackson Carman part that they'd be dealing with, but like really, like we need to do like a channel for channel or show for show. I don't know, humiliation of some sort. We got to cook that up later.
Nick Padone, Jackson Carman style holding. Yeah, no, I think. How about Jackson Carman? Real shot to make the team to start preseason. And now I don't really think he has a shot to make the team, even with Deontay Smith's unfortunate injury. And so overall, I think the state of the offensive line in pretty good shape as of now. And part of that has to do with Matt Lee. Andrew, just wait till you see this. This Matt Lee interview, I'll go one-on-one with Bengals 7th round pick Matt Lee, potential backup center to Ted Karras. I think you're going to love him, Cincinnati. I'll talk with him next on Enter the Jungle. Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. I'm James Rapien. He is Andrew Fox Miller. Catch us every single Tuesday at 8 Eastern on Cincinnati Bengals Talk Weekly on Bally Sports. And I had the pleasure of talking one-on-one with Bengals rookie center Matt Lee. He's been impressive throughout training camp. He's been impressive throughout the preseason. And I asked him how he's feeling going into the final week of camp. 2 preseason games under your belt. How are you feeling going into the final week of training camp?
Good, man. Learning a lot and getting better every day, trying to get better every day, focus on little things, big things, you know what I mean? Trying to really put it together. After this last week, being able to get out there and play a lot of reps, that does a lot for someone. But, take it a day at a time, right? And take each practice for what it is and do everything you can to get better.
How challenging was it early in camp? Because there's only so many guys getting in team. And so you're going through individual drills. You're probably learning the playbook, but you're not getting in on team stuff. How hard is that to grow and stay patient?
It's tough. You got to be patient. You know what I mean? And take what you can. Watch the reps as much as you can, whether that's out there in the practice field, making each rep a visual rep as much as you can. And then when you're not in practice, being able to get in the iPad, watch the film, learn this, learn that, because, undoubtedly it's going to be easier to learn technically and assignment-wise, mentally, what to do when you go do it. That's anything that anyone would ever do. You do it better by doing it. But it is tough, and you got to be patient with it. And then when you get an opportunity, you just got to try to take that and do what you can with it.
Obviously impressed the coaching staff in the Tampa Bay game, probably in practice as well going into that, because you did get some team reps. I've been watching you a little bit. Get some team reps before that. You get into the Tampa Bay game, certainly impressed them. When you found out you were starting against Chicago, what was that like? When was it, and what was that like?
So I guess when we got to Chicago the day before the game, maybe, we kind of knew that the starters weren't going to be doing much, because we had understood that, the joint practice was kind of their game, if you will, with Chicago. So, none of those guys kind of dressed out. But from that point, when I know, okay, they're not actually playing, then I knew I would be. And it's pretty cool, man. You know what I mean? I was pretty emotional in my own head, and maybe over inflating it mentally as I would and a lot of stuff, But it's pretty awesome, dude, to go and get a full game of it, 60 plus reps, and it's awesome.
I'm sure that there was plenty that you want to clean up, but how do you think you did after watching the film of every snap that you were in on?
Yeah, good. I think overall there's stuff to improve upon, like always. Definitely a few things that I need to hammer every day that I can and continue to improve upon. I thought there was a lot of good, and then there was bad. To just take it take it for what it is, and today focus on it, tomorrow focus on it, Wednesday focus on it, Thursday focus on it, just make it like a creature, a habit to really hammer those things.
We covered the draft a ton, and ahead of the draft, I was like, all right, well, Matt Lee's an early day 3 guy. It felt like that was it. Did you have an expectation going into the draft? I know I just jumped way back, but like waiting to the 7th round, like what was that process like, and what was your expectation going into the draft?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I had heard, you might, like you're saying, early day 3, it might be 5th round, there's a good chance. 6th round, there's a good chance. 7th, they're saying, it should be higher than that, but maybe, and then not getting drafted, they're like, I guess there's a scenario where you don't, but that shouldn't happen. But you know what, I was grateful when it happened. It's a long kind of anxiety-ridden day, and when it happened, you kind of just are like a little bit relieved and happy for the opportunity. So,
what has it been like working with some of these veterans? Like the whole starting unit's all veteran guys that have been there, done that. Obviously, Ted is pretty popular in these parts. He's only been here for 2 years, by the way. So that gives you an idea of how quickly things have changed. But yeah, how has Ted and the veterans helped you?
Yeah, awesome, dude. Ted and all of them, they got so much experience in this league. Ted and Kappa for sure. Just the knowledge they know and the kind of bits and pieces, whether in the meeting room watching film or we're out on the field and they see something, just little stuff to throw your way and talk you through and help you with. Both those guys and the rest of them for sure. But both those guys for sure have freaking played a lot of football. Been as far as you can go in a season, stuff like that, and being able to learn from them is huge and valuable. Yeah.
Most guys have a welcome to the NFL moment. Do you think you've had that yet, or you're like, oh, I'm here now?
I don't think so. No, I'm sure I'll get smacked at one point and be like, damn, yeah. But I don't know if I took one that I'm like, okay, wow, holy crap, that's some shit. Yeah.
That's pretty good then. Two preseason games in, you haven't had to deal with that. I mean, you dealt with the Bears starters too.
Yeah, no, it was just awesome, man. Being able to go against guys that every game are that's the Bears guys. So getting real reps in a game against them is obviously great work because they're really good football players. And then also from a mental side, being able to see like, all right, like I held up against them. You know what I mean? So it kind of boosts your confidence maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Last thing for you, and I appreciate the time. Fans are getting familiar with your game, getting familiar with you. You've been here for a few months. What would you like them to know about you, Matt Lee, the football player?
Oh, man, it's just work hard. I'm just a worker, man. I was a low-rated recruit coming out of high school, 2-star, something like that. Went to, at the time, UCF, Central Florida, which was a group of 5 school, good team, but a group of 5 school at the time, a local hometown guy there. That's kind of why I got that offer. 7th round pick now too, so always kind of been undervalued even when I was in freaking middle school and high school. So just try to be a grinder, try to be a worker, a finisher, and someone that's going to try to improve every single day.
I certainly think fans will get behind that. Matt, I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
An underdog story, Andrew. That's what Matt Lee is. I mean, did you hear him from 2-star to UCF to Miami to the NFL, even if you had to wait till the 7th round? He was telling me how on pins and needles he was on draft day, thinking he was going to go 5th round. I thought he was a 5th rounder as well. Ends up falling to the 7th round and is in a good spot now here in Cincinnati.
Great story, but I couldn't help but think of the whole vibe going on there, James. I mean, and we talk about energy, like presented by Garage Beer. That was Garage Beer energy. I'm just saying he could probably throw down some. We might have to get him on the show.
Yeah, what I get him a couple. Yeah, that's right. You know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Seeing who could drink more, Teddy K or Matt Lee. That's a good off-season battle. In season, they got to make each other better in that center room. Up next, let's shift gears a little bit because Money Mac, well, he's definitely getting the money. We'll discuss Evan McPherson's contract extension next. Evan McPherson is making that Andrew Fox Miller money. Hi again, everyone, and welcome back to Enter the Jungle. He is Andrew Fox Miller. Evan McPherson. Well, he got paid 3 years, 16 million bucks. I love it. I love everything about this extension, Andrew. What was your reaction when we were on the phone and I said, "Ooh, Evan McPherson just agreed to an extension"?
I mean, love it, obviously, and about time. It was going to happen. We were just waiting, and it felt like, honestly, it took longer than it should, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes, obviously, with any of these things. But it was inevitable. I'm just glad it happened, and honestly, it felt like a bit of a drought with sort of those signings that you just know are going to happen. It didn't feel like a real signing because we weren't like in the middle of whatever, like we're all like, at family reunions or something when this stuff happens. But I digress.
So earlier in the show, and by the way, shout out to Charlie Goldsmith for the AFC North offensive line thing. I said that the Bengals have the best offensive line in the AFC North. Him and I were talking about it earlier this week. That's why I want to make sure I shout him out. I have another take for you.
Oh,
The Bengals just extended the guy who in 15 years, when the third Enter the Jungle book comes out that I've written on the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's a history of all their Lombardis and everything like that.
sticker on the cover, also a weekly show on YouTube and Bally Sports.
That's right. When that comes out, the greatest kicker in franchise history is going to be Evan McPherson.
Okay.
That to me is why this was a no-brainer, is because Evan is well on his way to doing that, surpassing the other great kickers. And I don't mean that to disrespect Jim Breach. Love Jim, saw Jim earlier this month. I don't know, the time bleeds together when it's training camp time, but no, I think Evan's well on his way to doing that, and that Money Mac nickname certainly rings true today.
Yeah, I mean, and Evan even said it during his news conference that he had with the media, where he even said, "Hey, it's a different era. We're expected to make these longer kicks, that sort of thing." So there's that element, but with Evan, like Joe Burrow's one thing. He's a different breed when we talk about cool, collected. Evan, that dude, I cannot figure him out. I don't think anything would really, really rattle that guy, but he's always smiling when he talks, and it throws me off. I love the guy.
He's smiling. He's a really nice dude, and that's who he is. Like, the cameras don't change. Like, there was one time where he was answering reporters' questions, and he was like, "Oh, I would say the same thing if the camera was on." Like, that's just who he is.
I believe it.
And you're right. It's really genuine. So really happy for Evan and the rest of the McPherson family. Up next, it's Madden time. Oh, Andrew, I've been waiting for this. It's Madden time. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. He is Andrew Fox Miller, the man that lost to me in Madden. I am James Rapien, the man who whooped him, opened up a can of whoop beep in Madden on you in Madden 25. How did it feel, Andrew, to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals, aka me in Madden?
First of all, what I assume is basically an exhibition game. I've got you like low key, like taking pictures with your phone of the score. Like, oh, I'm going to just look what I did to you. I'm going to tell everybody about what I did. Like, yeah. Well,
the reason it was 41-14 is because I missed an extra point while I was taking a photo of the score.
I love that you remember the score. That's what I say. Like you do that. And then I try to, hey, let's casually play Madden the other night. And you're like, oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna go home, because you don't want a record of anything else happening other than the one game where you caught me off guard.
No, we played and I was winning. I just didn't want to play a full game. That's all. I left on top of that game too.
Unnecessary context.
That's right. Speaking of Madden, some Madden ratings are out. Are you surprised the highest Bengals only a 93?
No, only because I feel like the top really 4 or 5 have been pretty consistent with what they were rated last year. I know that's a boring answer, but I had to look into it. I was like, what? How angry should I be? And then I looked and I was like, okay.
To me, what's kind of humbling probably isn't the right word, but I'm looking at these rankings. Like, T. Higgins is only an 85, and they
similar
only have
to what he was for year prior. But yeah,
but they only have 4 players higher than an 85. In Jamar, Joe, Trey Hendrickson, Trent Brown. Trent Brown is the 4th highest. Like, think about the Q rating amongst the fan base versus the Madden rating. And it's like, oh, well, Trent Brown, there's so many questions. And then Madden thinks he's, an elite tackle. And I think he's a really good tackle. I'm not belittling him. It's just interesting.
I mean, I think it's interesting that they also put Dax Hill and DJ Turner neck and neck at 75 apiece. They're right next to each other, which is just fun because we talk about those two a lot and who's coming out ahead. Speaking of Matt Lee, by the way, 62. We better bump that one up. I think he's already overdue for a bump up, but that's
That's
me.
his jersey number. Yeah, I agree with that. He should be higher. Sheldon Rankins as a 74 is the one that stands out to me.
Yeah.
He's at least an 84. Like, that's way low.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not
way
insulted,
low.
but I agree with you.
You're not insulted? Okay.
I'm
I'm insulted by this one too. Evan McPherson, a 78.
I wanted to mention that in the last segment. Yeah. What's that about? What do you need? More distance, more accuracy? What do you need?
A 78 is what you are in Madden. All right? Because it takes you 7 games to score 8 points. No, you got more than 8 points against me, but not much more because it was 41-14. I
will leave you with this. Speaking of what I want you to feel like next time we play each other in Madden, Cal Automitis, like, what's the story with how they rate long snappers? Like, it's a 40. You know what I mean? Like, what? He shouldn't be on the team if that's a 40.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I mean, is there a whole different, like, is there some sort of different graded situation?
That is mean.
Here?
Yeah. Some of these guys on the back end are way too low.
I mean, Jackson Carman even got a 66. What are we doing, EA?
Holding. 79 offense. All right, I got to stop being so mean to Jackson Carman.
Yeah.
Even though he's had a rough couple of weeks with the Cincinnati Bengals. That's going to do it for us. We have you covered all season long. Every Tuesday at 8 Eastern on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching. Enter the jungle.